Hi, I'm Brooke Erdman, and today I'm going to speak to Rick, who's going to share his carnivore journey with us. Hi, Rick, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you again for taking the time out to share with our listeners what it's been like for you on the carnivore diet. What brought you to this diet? What were things going on for you?
Um, well, I was an avid sportsman. I played all sorts of sports in high school and beyond. I was a marathon runner, ran my first marathon when I was 44, and I actually did it with a fractured tibia. Um, I didn't know it at the time, obviously, until my doctor told me afterwards, "Hey, dummy, you had a broken leg." Uh, but I did all the training up till then, the hundreds of miles a week that I ran. I had so much inflammation. My joints hurt all the time, several meniscus surgeries, just the swelling and inflammation all the time. I felt arthritic, hard to get out of bed, but I figured if I kept pushing myself and running and exercising that I would feel better. So I realized possibly a gluten, possibly a dairy allergy. So I stopped doing gluten and dairy. It got a little bit better. The inflammation didn't 100% go away. So I went to a completely ketogenic diet, which helped a little bit. But in the meantime, I had 4 knee replacements, which if you do the math, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me. I had a couple of knee surgeries that went bad, and the apparatus in my fake knee broke. I had the continued inflammation because I was still eating, horrible seed oils and the sugar and the carbs. Once I've gotten my knees completely replaced and I've gone to a carnivore diet, strictly eliminating everything that caused the issues, I feel 100 times better. I don't run anymore now that I've got all the titanium in my knees, and a couple of neck surgeries, actually, discectomies and fusions from pinched nerves. But I'm completely happy, completely got into the carnivore diet. Was such an easy transition after being fat adapted on a keto diet. I feel 100 times better. I'm up at the crack of dawn every day, like we should be. At night, going to bed, sleeping well. It was just a very easy transition. I was just remarking to my wife yesterday, I'm never hungry. I don't ever, and if I am hungry, I have a craving for something, and it's usually a steak or a hamburger with some cheese on it and some bacon. But I feel 100 times better, and it was a very easy transition. I'm glad that I made the transition.
That's great. Now, how long have you been carnivore?
Little over a year now, strictly carnivore. I did maybe 80% of my diet was meat. Before that, it was keto.
And how long were you on keto?
Oh, better part of 2 years.
Years. And
I think.
so you were fat adapted, and then you slowly stopped to you sort of dropped the plants, just dropped them?
Yep. I realized I didn't need them. They were just kind of a complementary things I cooked with, and I realized I could get through a lot of research. Through MeatRx and Dr. Baker and everybody else in the space, learned a lot more and read about 20 books on the topic of carnivore, and realized that most of the other things in my diet I didn't need, and I can get virtually everything I can or that I need, that my body needs, from meat or animal-based products.
What was that difference for you when you dropped the plants?
More energy. That's
Mhm.
the one thing I noticed. I sleep better. I sleep less. I realized right off the bat that I needed less sleep. I thought that I was, an insomniac, and maybe I need to sleep more, and I would try to sleep, but realized that throughout the day, my energy levels were exactly the same as when I woke up. No lulls in the action, no lulls in my performance throughout the day. Alert, astute, energy levels off the charts all day long.
And it sounds like the transition was kind of simple for you, or actually just positive.
Both. I think it's both. It was very easy to eliminate the plants out of my diet. I realized, in reading it and hearing other people's testimonies, that I didn't need it. And then blood works. I did several labs all my numbers were fine, despite everyone else saying, oh, your cholesterol is going to be through the roof and you're going to get cancer and all this other. Well, all my blood markers are just about what you would consider perfect.
What do you eat now? What's the typical day of eating for you?
Lots of eggs. I get locally sourced eggs and meat from a farmer about 5 miles away, and I realized that I can go through about a dozen eggs a day.
Wow.
All forms or another, sometimes raw with a protein shake, lots of steaks, but I've realized that I don't have to eat as much. I might crave a steak in the afternoon, maybe a steak and a couple of eggs, but that's virtually all I need. I snack on bacon. Probably at least we always have bacon on hand. I pre-make it, layer it out a little bit so I can just grab it cold or have it with meals. That's kind of my side dish is bacon. So
Nice, sounds good. And did you lose weight?
about 50 pounds. Yep, that was just almost about a pound a day. I know we're not, I wasn't supposed to get on the scales because I eat this way to get healthy, and the weight loss was just kind of a byproduct of that. I didn't lose the weight to get healthy. It was the other, I got healthy and ended up losing the weight as a side effect, which is a good side effect. Actually cleaned out my entire wardrobe. I will never wear that size again. I told myself I'm at the same waist size I was in high school now.
Nice, looking good. And medications for you?
Oh, I was on 3 different blood pressure medications because my doctor just kept throwing another, let's do this one, let's do a calcium blocker and a beta blocker and all this other stuff, instead of never addressing what could be the root cause of it, which is a horrible diet of plants and carbs, and trying to do all the green shake this and green shake that and all these other catch-alls that everybody tried to sell you to get healthy. And I'm off all 3 blood pressure medications, an anti-anxiety medication, all the medications I had for the eczema and psoriasis that I had, and the anti-inflammatories like Celebrex or aspirin or Tylenol or anything that I used to take for my joint pain. I don't have a need for that anymore, so I'm not on any of those medications.
So the eczema, did the keto diet help with some of these things when you were?
It helped. Yes, it did help a little bit, but I realized that like some people, maybe a majority of the population, I had an issue with a lot of dairy. So I cut that out. I know some people consider they love cheese and yogurt and all that, being animal based, but I've cut a lot of that out, and that has completely eliminated the problem.
So your skin started to clear up, and you weren't taking any medications for skin, then you could drop that.
No, I had a myriad of lotions that I always put on to soothe the burning, the itching, the scaling and flake, all that stuff, just because, the look and the itching and the burning, all that was just horrible all the time. And I was self-conscious about it. And it was almost like turning a light switch on. It was within a couple days of stopping any plant-based and the dairy that it just cleared right up. I almost didn't even notice it.
But you do eat a little bit of dairy now. You did
I did cheese, yes. The aged cheese, yes. The good without the milk protein, the milk solids in it. And clarified butter. I do a lot of that. But normally I've traded the dairy, the butter and the ghee for bacon grease, lard, beef tallow, and everything tastes better.
Yeah. You drink coffee?
Yes, that's one of the last thing I'm trying to get off, because it's made out of plants, I know, but that's a hard thing to deprogram yourself from. But I do drink the fatty coffee. I'll throw some, actually some people, friends and family, think it's gross to think about putting bacon grease in your coffee, but I do that as well.
Nice. Well, I do put suet in mine sometimes, so.
I have not tried that, but I thought about it.
Yeah, because it really has like no taste at all, raw suet. It's really just a waxy kind of, has no taste.
I may try that. I
Yeah.
had bone marrow the other day. I cooked bone marrow, but I didn't have, usually they'll serve it on biscuits and everything. And I just ate it as it was out of the bone, bought the bones from
Yeah.
the femurs from the store, from the grocery store, and cooked it. And so maybe I could use that too.
Delicious. So when you eat a steak, do you add fat, or you adding butter or adding fat to it? You said
I add a little bit of fat to it. Bacon grease seems to be because we make so much bacon. I just save the drippings in a little strainer that's made for that, and I use that to cook on everything. And it adds so much flavor and satiety, and I'm not hungry, and it tastes great.
Sounds like it's working really well for you. How about your family? Is your family kind of following along?
My wife by default she's an athlete. She still runs. She doesn't have the issues with the joint pain and everything, but she's always eaten healthy. More plant-based than I over the last couple of years, but because she's working from home and I'm doing a lot of the cooking, that's primarily what we have. And the creamed vegetables, if she has any vegetables, I'll add the heavy cream to that or cook it with bacon grease in the first place, and she loves that.
Yeah, so adding some animal fat to those plants.
Just about everything. Yes, we
Yeah.
add animal fat to everything, bacon grease mostly, and beef tallow.
Do you
It's
eat organs, liver and stuff?
I've been eating the liver, and I know I need to implement that more, the bioavailable forms of sweet meats, but I eat the desiccated organs,
Mhm.
the desiccated organ meats, because I know how beneficial it is with all the additional nutrients that you can get. Liver, the ones that I've had in the past, in years past, were the deep fried battered ones that you get at a restaurant, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So they're cooked in bad oils, and they're like the gizzards and chicken gizzards and all that. But
Yeah.
I'm starting to implement that. I've never had, until a couple months ago, the liver. I remember it as a kid, hated the taste of it, but I know that it's so good for me that I eat it.
And you could try a pate maybe.
That's true. Yes, liverwurst.
Yeah, I've never actually had deep fried breaded liver. That must be a thing, and that must be a
Oh,
region.
it's a rural bar food type of thing. You get a whole basket of it. It looks like fried mushrooms, but it's all the gizzards, and they're just deep fried and battered.
Well,
So if
what?
there's a carnivore way to do that,
Yeah, just use tallow.
oh, you could get a whole basket of those things, and that's how people like. But they drench them and dip them in a bunch of batter, and then put
What
ketchup on them.
state? What state is that?
Michigan,
Michigan. So maybe it's a Michigan thing. With
lots of deer and chicken gizzards, and yeah, people love. But the problem is they deep fry everything and batter it.
right. So if they just switch the technique up, maybe
Yep,
switch it
exactly.
back over to tallow or something. Well, that sounds good. Tell me a little bit about the anti-anxiety medications that you were able to let go of. What's that like?
Um, it just it's kind of an overall feeling of just always tired and always a feeling of malaise and anxiety about everything. And I just have, because I know a lot of things are chemically tied to your gut microbiome. I've realized a lot of that with the education I've gotten over the last few years, and just by anecdotally, what I've experienced. I don't have a need for it. And I talked to my doctor about it. He said, well, I don't know if you should get off that. You've been on it for a long time. And I thought, well, so I started, with his advice, weaning myself off it. And I feel even better than when I was on the anti-anxiety medication. My job was in a prison, so it was kind of a depressing job working in a prison setting all day long. So I always attributed it to that, not realizing that a lot of it could have been, and probably was, due to diet.
Wow, that's a profound change, being able to get off those kind of mood stabilizers and stuff. That's great.
Exactly, and I feel good about. Well, not to mention the fact that there's side effects with every medication. I attributed a lot of the blood pressure issues to other medications I was taking, maybe the stomach medication, the anti-anxiety medication. Just overall, I started peeling off the medications one by one and realized that I don't need them. I don't need to pay the companies for all that money and have my insurance get billed for it, and I feel 100 times better without being on any of those medications.
What a relief. It's like you pulled yourself out of that domino game, because it just goes on and on with medications.
Exactly. There's synergistic effects with all the medications, and I know that a lot of times doctors will just, if you have another symptom next time you go in, they'll throw something else at it without a lot of consultation with the other doctors and reading the contraindications of the medications, and with causing things like blood pressure or anxiety issues, or I had a doctor that was trying to treat me for lupus type symptoms because I had this, the swelling, the inflammation and all that, and realized all the side effects from it right off the bat, and got immediately off that. That was right about the time that I switched to carnivore.
Would that have been steroids?
It was, oh boy, I'm trying to remember what it was. Whatever, it was a biologic medication, so it messed with my immune system and it messed up my gut microbiome and just caused other issues. It actually caused more anxiety than than anything else, which is one of the side effects of that.
Wow, it's so good for you. I mean, so good for you that you're able to free yourself from that.
Wish I would have realized it about 20 years ago.
Oh, I do too. Yeah. Well, I'm sure glad that you've realized it now, and that you're helping your family too. And actually, I'm curious, what did your doctor say? You still have the same physician that has seen this?
He's actually I have a new doctor now, and it's not because I switched, although I was going to, because he kept pushing the plant-based. You got to have so much of your calories from carbs, and I didn't agree with him at the time, and showed him my numbers, and then said, oh, by the way, all I eat is fat. And I got what I thought I would get is, oh, you can't do that, your cholesterol is going to be bad. And well, actually it wasn't, because I showed him my blood work first and then told him how I ate, and I'm sure that threw a lot of confusion into how can his cholesterol be good if he's eating this way. Because he had the conventional medical schooling that that a lot of doctors and nurse practitioners and people in the medical field have. I do have a new doctor that I'm scheduled to see in March, and I'm going to use the same approach where I show them my blood work that I paid for, and see if I can get some of those blood work done again, and tell her what my philosophy is and how I'm eating and everything, and then I'll find out. My goal is to not have to go to doctors. I was just thinking, every time I schedule a doctor's appointment, why am I scheduling a doctor's appointment if there's nothing wrong with me? Why do I need, if I can do my own, if I feel good and don't have any of these physical symptoms, why would I have to go to a doctor just so they can bill my insurance or me?
Why are you?
It doesn't make a lot of sense. They just say, well, let's see you in 6 months just to do a checkup. Well, if my checkups are all going to be good, and they have been, then why would I need to go to a doctor?
Good for you. It doesn't sound like you will have to go to a doctor so often.
Thank you. I hope I don't. I'm going to be my own doctor.
Yeah, you have to be your own doctor anyway, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds really great. I'm really happy for you. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us. It sounds like everything is going really well. And I love the way that you're able to drop off medications. And
thank you.
So good. Yeah.
And because I feel so good, I thought I have to get the word out there to family and friends, people I care about, people that are filled with misinformation all day long. It's kind of like a calling to get the word out there. So it logically followed that I become a coach, a carnivore coach, and I'm very happy to get started in doing that as well.
Oh, great. Do you visit MeatRx? Do you utilize the site?
Yes, I do. There's lots of interesting meetings in this time, because I'm on the Eastern time zone. So a lot of the meetings are going on at like 5:30 a.m., which is good for me because that's, it's 3 hours later here. So I get up and see all the bright-eyed and bushy-tailed people and doing their meetings. And I love Dr. Baker.
You're on the East Coast.
I'm on the East Coast.
Yeah, so.
Well, close.
So
I'm on Chicago time, Detroit time.
Okay, so our 9 a.m. meetings for you are at 10 or 11. Isn't that
12. Right? We're 3 hours difference. Yep.
3 hours difference. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so you
So I get to sleep in.
I was gonna say you sleep in. We have to wake up early. Yeah. Very good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad for you. And I'm so grateful that you've come on to share your story with other people and that you're such a shining, strong example of a really great diet and lifestyle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. I really appreciate it. Carney on.
Carney on.